In the world of the Norse gods, there are many powerful figures. Odin is the All-Father. Thor is the Thunderer. Freyja is the goddess of love. But there is another god, one who walks a different path, Loki. He is known for his cunning and his love for trouble. He is the trickster, the shapeshifter, the god of mischief. He is the chaos in the order. He is without a doubt the most fascinating and dangerous of all the gods. He is the god you can never quite trust. One day, he might use his cleverness to get the gods out of a terrible mess. The next, he might be the one who created that mess in the first place. He can be your greatest ally or your most devastating enemy. He is a god of fire, of unpredictable change. The other gods of Asgard are often wary of Loki, yet they keep him close. Odin himself made a blood pact with Loki, making them brothers. This strange bond places Loki at the very heart of Asgard. He dines with the gods, he fights alongside them, and he shares in their glories. But there is always a shadow in his eyes, a hint of a plan that no one else can see. He walks among them, but he's not truly one of them. Understanding Loki is like trying to catch smoke in your hands. He is a puzzle, a riddle, wrapped in 1,000 different forms. To understand the Norse myths, you must understand Loki. He is the force that pushes the story forward. He challenges the gods, tests their limits, and ultimately plays a key role in their final epic battle. His tale is a journey into the heart of chaos, a look at a god who breaks all the rules and changes the world forever. This is his untold story. Loki's blood is not purely of the Aesir. He is the son of a giant and a goddess, making him an outsider. He belongs to two worlds, but is fully accepted by neither, caught between two great powers. Loki is a being of profound contradictions, both a creator and a destroyer. He tricked a dwarf into making treasures, including Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and Odin's spear, Gungnir. Yet he orchestrated the death of Baldr. He is a helper and a hinderer, a friend and a foe. With the giantess Angerboda, he fathered Hel, Jormungandr, and Fenrir. He shapeshifted and gave birth to Sleipnir. He is the god of the grey areas, the master of ambiguity. He forces us to look at the world as it is, complicated and unpredictable. Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. In Norse mythology, Loki ensures the story never grows stale. He's the catalyst that sets major events in motion. The world of the gods is a place of order, of rules and traditions set by Odin. But Loki is the exception to every rule. The most pivotal moment is his role in the death of Baldr the Beautiful. His death was the first sign that Ragnarok was approaching. Loki's malice found the one thing that could harm Baldr: mistletoe. It transformed Loki from a mischievous ally into an unforgivable enemy, sealing his own dark fate. This single act sets the stage for the end of the world. As punishment, the gods bind Loki in a cave. At Ragnarok, he will lead an army against the gods of Asgard. He is the spark that lights the fire of Ragnarok. Loki's story begins not in Asgard, but in the untamed lands of the giants. He is the son of a Jotun, Farboti, and Lofe, a figure of mysterious origins. This mixed heritage sets Loki apart. He carries the blood of rivals. It makes him a bridge between worlds, never truly at home in either. Once in Asgard, Loki forged a powerful connection with Odin, becoming blood brothers. This granted Loki a high seat, allowing him to dine with the gods. Loki was the father of both gods and monsters, a living embodiment of contradictions. His monstrous offspring would become the greatest threats to the gods. The poets of the Old North often described Loki's handsome appearance first. This attractiveness was one of his greatest tools, allowing him to gain trust. Beneath this exterior lay a mind that was fickle, malicious, and utterly unpredictable. More than just a handsome face, Loki's defining trait was his power to change his form. He was the ultimate shapeshifter, able to become anything he wished. He could become an animal, like a salmon or even an old woman. This ability to change his shape is central to who Loki is. It represents his fluid identity and his refusal to be bound by any single definition. This power makes him incredibly dangerous, as you can never be sure who you are truly talking to. Loki has no consistent defining feature other than his own inconsistency. The one constant is the clever, mischievous spark in his eyes, a sign of the brilliant, restless mind. His appearance is whatever the moment requires it to be. Ancient myths vividly describe Loki, but Viking-age depictions are rare. The Snapton stone from Denmark features a face with stitched lips, believed to represent Loki's punishment for losing a wager. Other carvings, like the Kirkby-Stephen stone, show a bound, horned figure with a woman holding a bowl. This mirrors the myth of Loki's punishment after Baldr's death, bound in a cave with venom dripping on him, his wife Sigyn catching it in a bowl. These carvings depict Loki's downfall, a reminder that even the cleverest cannot escape justice. Loki's mischief led him to cruelly shave Sif's golden hair. Thor, enraged, threatened Loki, who swore to replace Sif's hair with even finer gold. Loki sought out the dwarves, challenging their skill to create treasures. They forged golden hair for Sif, a ship called Skidbladnir, and the spear Gungnir. Unsatisfied, Loki wagered with Brock and Eitri, betting his head that they couldn't match the previous treasures. They created Gullinbursti, Draupnir, and the mighty hammer Mjolnir. The gods deemed Mjolnir the greatest, a weapon to defend Asgard. Loki's schemes inadvertently armed the gods with legendary artifacts, shaping their destinies. 2. Soon after Asgard was built, a giant builder arrived, offering to build an impregnable wall in 3 seasons. His price, the sun, the moon, and the goddess Freyja. Loki persuaded the gods to accept, but only if the wall was finished in 1 winter with no man's help. The builder agreed, requesting his stallion Svadilfari. The wall rapidly grew, alarming the gods. Loki, to save them, turned into a mare, distracting Svadilfari. The wall remained unfinished. Thor killed the enraged giant. Later, Loki returned with Sleipnir, an 8-legged foal, gifting him to Odin. The gods feared Fenrir, Loki's monstrous wolf child. They brought him to Asgard, but he grew rapidly. Prophecies foretold Fenrir would devour Odin at Ragnarok. Unable to kill him in Asgard, they decided to bind him. They forged chains, Ledinga and Dromi, but Fenrir broke them easily. Desperate, the gods sought help from the dwarves, who created Gleipnir, a silken ribbon made from impossible things. Suspicious, Fenrir demanded a sacrifice. Tyr bravely placed his hand in the wolf's mouth. Bound by Gleipnir, Fenrir struggled in vain. He bit off Tyr's hand. The gods rejoiced, having bound Fenrir and delayed Ragnarok. Baldr the Beautiful, son of Odin and Frigg, shone with a light that brought joy to Asgard. But nightmares of his death plagued him. Frigg made everything swear an oath not to harm him. The gods made a game of throwing weapons at Baldr, who was now invincible. Loki, jealous, learned that Mistletoe had not sworn the oath. He crafted it into a dart. Loki tricked Baldr's blind brother Hoder into throwing the dart. It struck Baldr, killing him. The gods were horrified, knowing Loki was responsible. This act brought sorrow to Asgard and was the beginning of Ragnarok, sealing Loki's fate. After Baldr's death, Asgard was shrouded in grief. The gods pleaded with Hel to release him, and she agreed. If every being in the 9 worlds wept for Baldr, everything mourned except one, a giantess named Thok, who refused to shed a tear. Her cold words sealed Baldr's fate in the underworld forever. The gods quickly realized Thok was Loki in disguise, sabotaging their last hope. Furious, the gods hunted Loki, who fled to a mountain, building a house with 4 doors to watch for danger. By night, he became a salmon, hiding in the river, and by day, he invented the fishing net, his own undoing. The gods found the burnt net, crafted their own, and cornered Loki. Thor caught him as he leapt, gripping his tail. Why salmon are slender at the back? The trickster was finally caught. Loki was dragged to a cave where the gods exacted brutal justice. They turned his son Vali into a wolf who killed his brother Nafi. Loki was bound to rocks with Nafi's hardened entrails. Above him, Skadi fastened a serpent, its venom dripping onto Loki's face. A torment without end. Only his wife Sigyn stayed by his side, catching the poison in a bowl. When she emptied it, venom struck Loki, and his agony shook the earth, causing earthquakes. Loki's punishment was total isolation, pain, and regret. The gods believed this would end his chaos, but the story was not over. Prophecy foretold Loki's chains would break during the Fimbulwinter as the world quaked. Freed, Loki would lead an army of giants and monsters aboard Naglfar, the ship of the dead, to wage war on Asgard. The gods and monsters would clash at Ragnarok, Odin devoured by Fenrir, Thor and Jormungandr slaying each other. Loki would face Heimdallr, his old foe, in a final fatal duel. Both would fall, ending their ancient rivalry. Loki's vengeance would bring ruin to gods and world alike. His last trick, if he must fall, all would fall with him. The age of the gods would end in fire and chaos. Loki's mind is his greatest weapon. Brilliant, restless and dangerous, he thrives on challenges, often helping the gods with clever solutions, but just as quickly turning to mischief out of boredom or envy. Loki's loyalty is only to himself. His tricks can be helpful or devastating. As an outsider in Asgard, jealousy and resentment drive his most destructive acts, like orchestrating Baldr's death. He wants to prove nothing is perfect, tearing down what others cherish. Loki is charming, witty and unpredictable, a force of chaos in a world of order. He's not simply good or evil, but a complex mix of both. His cleverness is matched only by his capacity for destruction. Loki is more than a character. He's the embodiment of chaos in a universe craving order. He disrupts, challenges and forces the gods to adapt, driving change and evolution. His shapeshifting blurs boundaries, showing that nothing is fixed, not identity, not fate. Loki's actions spark both creation and destruction, ensuring the world never stagnates. He is the question that unsettles every answer, the fire that both warms and burns. The gods need him even as they fear him, for he keeps their world dynamic. Without Loki, there would be no conflict, no growth and no end. He is the spark that drives the story of the gods forward. Loki's relationships in the Nine Worlds are complicated. He is Odin's blood brother, granting him a place among the Aesir. He shares a complex bond with Thor. They adventure together, though Thor often cleans up Loki's messes. Loki is tied to the giants of Jotunheim. Born of a giant father, his dual allegiance means neither side fully trusts him. Married to Sigyn, her loyalty is absolute. Contrasting this is Angerboda and their monstrous children, who become weapons against the gods. Caught between gods and giants, Loki is a unique figure, both an insider and an outsider. Our knowledge of Loki does not come from a single ancient book. Instead, it comes from many different places, pieced together like a puzzle over centuries. The most important sources, really, are two Icelandic books from the 13th century. The first is the Poetic Edda. This is a collection of older poems, passed down by anonymous poets through generations. These poems tell the great stories of the gods in powerful, dramatic verse. They speak of Loki's tricks, his arguments with the other gods, and his terrible fate. They are our earliest and most direct window into the world of Norse myth, capturing the raw emotion of the tales. The second key source is the Prose Edda. This book was written by a single man, an Icelandic chieftain and scholar named Snorri Sturluson. Snorri wanted to preserve the old stories and the art of skaldic poetry, which was fading in his Christian era. He wrote down the myths in a more organized narrative form. He tells the stories of Loki creating treasures, causing Baldr's death and being punished, often explaining the details and connections between the tales. While the Poetic Edda is like hearing the original song, the Prose Edda is like having a wise storyteller explain what it all means. Most of what we know about Loki comes from Snorri's work. Besides the Eddas, Loki also appears in other places. He is mentioned in skaldic poetry, which were complex poems composed by court poets to praise kings and heroes. These poems often used kennings or clever metaphorical phrases to refer to the gods. Loki was sometimes called the father of the wolf, or the friend of Odin, showing his different roles. He also shows up in a book called Heimskringla, another of Snorri's works, and in old Norwegian rune poems. Each mention adds another small piece to the puzzle of his character, showing how widely known he was in the Viking world. But our knowledge isn't just from words on a page, it also comes from stone. A few rare archaeological finds give us a physical connection to the Trickster god. The most famous is the Snaptun stone from Denmark, which shows a face with its lips sewn shut, a clear reference to one of Loki's myths. In England, stone crosses like the Gosforth cross show a bound figure with a serpent above him, which scholars believe is Loki during his punishment. These ancient stones prove that the stories of Loki were not just for scholars. They were known by everyday people, carved into the very world around them as powerful reminders and warnings. For centuries, scholars have debated Loki's true nature. Some saw him as a fire god, others as a Norse Lucifer. Modern scholars view him as a complex trickster, a figure found worldwide. Even after the Viking Age, Loki persisted in folklore. The tale of Loki bound, destined to break free, echoes across cultures, representing the eternal struggle between order and chaos. The stories of the Norse gods may be ancient, but Loki has never been more alive than he is today. His complex character has proven irresistible to modern storytellers, and he has been reborn in countless books, comics, and films. One of his most famous modern transformations is in the world of Marvel Comics, as the adopted brother and arch-nemesis of Thor. This version of Loki, made world-famous by Tom Hiddleston, captures his charm and shifting loyalties. This portrayal has introduced Loki to millions, yet it keeps the core of his character intact, the handsome trickster, the master of magic and deceit. He is no longer just a god of mischief, he is a pop culture superstar. Loki continues to inspire writers of fantasy and mythology like Neil Gaiman and Joanne Harris. His influence extends into the world of video games as well, proving that a good story and a good trickster never truly dies. Why does Loki continue to fascinate us more than 1,000 years after the Vikings told his tales around their fires? The answer lies in his very nature. He is the ultimate rebel. In a world that demands conformity, Loki represents the spirit of individualism and defiance. He refuses to be bound by the rules of gods or men. He questions authority, challenges tradition, and follows his own path no matter the consequences. This resonates deeply with modern audiences who often feel constrained by society's expectations. Loki gives voice to the part of us that wants to break free, to stir up a little trouble, and to forge our own destiny. His complexity also makes him incredibly compelling. Unlike the straightforward heroism of Thor or the solemn wisdom of Odin, Loki is a messy, contradictory, and deeply human-like god. He is capable of great kindness and loyalty, as shown by his relationship with Sigyn, but also of profound cruelty and jealousy. He is a hero in one story and a villain in the next. This moral ambiguity makes him far more relatable than a perfect, flawless deity. We see our own potential for both good and bad reflected in him. He is not a symbol to be worshipped, but a mirror that shows us the complicated truths of our own nature. Furthermore, Loki is the eternal underdog. He is an outsider in Asgard, a giant sun living among the gods. He is never fully one of them, and he knows it. He has to rely on his wits and his cunning to survive and to prove his worth in a world that often looks down on him. Many people can relate to this feeling of being an outsider, of having to fight harder to be seen and respected. His struggle for recognition, even when it leads him down a dark path, is a powerful and enduring theme. We root for him because we understand his desire to make his mark on the world, to prove that he matters. Loki's legacy is that of the necessary spark. He is the force of chaos that prevents the world from becoming stagnant, and the agent of change who ensures the story never ends. He reminds us that challenging the status quo can lead to both destruction and creation. He is the god of the loophole, the exception, and the unexpected twist. In an age of rapid change and uncertainty, Loki's story feels more relevant than ever. He is a symbol of the unpredictable, transformative power that lies at the heart of all things. The untold story of Loki is, in the end, a story about the endless, chaotic, and beautiful dance of life itself. We have journeyed through the tumultuous life of Loki, from his strange birth to his fiery end. We have seen him as a friend to the gods, a giver of priceless treasures, and a quick-witted savior. We have also seen him as their greatest enemy, a father of monsters, a cold-hearted murderer, and the architect of their doom. He is a figure of dizzying contradictions, a god who cannot be contained by any single story or simple moral judgment. He is both the poison and, at times, the cure. His tale is not just a series of adventures. It is the chaotic, beating heart of the entire Norse mythological world, driving it forward with every lie, every scheme, and every betrayal. Loki's role is fundamentally that of the outsider who holds up a mirror to the society he has joined. As a giant son living in Asgard, he sees the gods not as they see themselves, but as they truly are. Flawed, proud, and sometimes, hypocritical. His tricks and pranks often serve to expose their weaknesses and challenge their authority. He questions their wisdom, mocks their honor, and tests the limits of their patience. In doing so, he forces them and us to look beyond the gleaming surface of Asgard and see the cracks in its foundation. He is the uncomfortable truth that every ordered system must eventually confront, the voice that asks the forbidden questions. He is the embodiment of chaos, a force that is both destructive and creative. The gods try to build a world of order and predictability, but Loki ensures that this is impossible. He introduces the unexpected, the random, and the transformative. This chaos is terrifying, as it leads to the death of the beloved Baldr and the devastation of Ragnarok. Yet it is also necessary. Without Loki's meddling, the gods would have no Mjolnir, no Gungnir, no eight-legged steed. His disruptive energy, while dangerous, is also a source of renewal and change, breaking down the old to make way for whatever comes next, even if it is only darkness. Understanding Loki is to understand that some forces in the universe cannot be neatly categorized as good or evil. He operates according to his own logic, driven by a cocktail of boredom, jealousy, and an insatiable desire to be the center of attention. He is the personification of the unpredictable nature of fate itself, a reminder that even the most powerful gods cannot control everything. His story shows that the line between a clever joke and a world-ending catastrophe can be terrifyingly thin. He is the shadow that follows the light, a constant presence that ensures nothing is ever truly safe, static, or certain. Loki's story does not end with his death at Ragnarok. It lives on, woven into the fabric of our modern culture. He has been resurrected on the page, on the screen, and in the digital worlds of our games, proving that his appeal is timeless. From the tragic anti-hero of the Marvel universe to the rebellious narrator of modern novels, his character continues to evolve, adapting to the anxieties and desires of each new generation. He has become a symbol for the outcast, the rebel, and the misunderstood. We are drawn to his wit, his defiance, and his refusal to accept the role assigned to him. He is the god for those who feel like they don't quite belong. His enduring power lies in his complexity. He is not a simple hero or a one-dimensional villain. He is a tangled knot of conflicting motives and loyalties, making him one of the most psychologically rich figures in all of mythology. He reminds us that people are rarely just one thing. They can be helpful and harmful, loving and cruel, brilliant and foolish, all at the same time. This messy, human-like quality is what makes him so relatable. In Loki, we see the reflection of our own internal struggles, the constant battle between our better angels and our darker impulses. He's a character we can analyze, argue about, and never fully solve. The legacy of Loki is ultimately a celebration of the power of story. He is the catalyst who makes the grand narrative of the Norse gods possible. Without his schemes, there would be fewer adventures. Without his betrayal, there would be no Ragnarok. He is the essential ingredient that adds conflict, tension, and excitement to the saga. He is the god who ensures the story is never boring. His tale is a powerful reminder that every great narrative needs a source of trouble, a character who breaks the rules and forces everyone else to react, adapt, and reveal their true selves in the face of chaos. So the untold story of Loki is not just the biography of a long-dead god. It is the story of a powerful and enduring idea, that chaos is a necessary part of creation, that rebellion is woven into the human spirit, and that the most compelling figures are those who live in the grey spaces between light and darkness. Loki, the silver-tongued trickster, the father of monsters, the spark of the apocalypse, remains forever fascinating. He is the god who fell, the villain who makes us think, and the rebel whose shadow stretches from the fires of Ragnarok all the way to the heart of our modern world.